And welcome to a Big Ten Network chat. I'm Andy Katz. Pleased to be joined by new Maryland head coach Kevin Willard. Kevin, congratulations on getting the job, joining the Big Ten, and seeing a lot of me on the Big Ten Network. So you got to get used to that. So first of all, when you saw that Mark Turgeon had resigned in December, of course, you're coaching your team, you're trying to win the Big East, you're trying to get into the NCAA tournament. At what point in the winter did you even think saying, you know what, this could be a possibility. I might want to go after this job.
You know what, Andy, it's kind of weird. It never really came to my attention until once the season started getting towards the end and things started popping up and guys unfortunately were losing their jobs. That's all when your agent calls and he's like, hey, here's these three options. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And you're like, all right, whatever. I really didn't start thinking about it, to be perfectly honest, until I was on my way home from our TCU game. And then I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, if this is something I want, I really got to think about this. And I really got to, it's in your peripheral. You can't, if you're on Twitter, it's impossible not to. But I really did not start breaking it down until on the plane ride home from San Diego.
So to that point, I mean, that was just a few days ago. How does something like this, something this monumental that affects not just you, your family, the staff, your current players, how are you able to process something this major in your life so quickly?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just something that you have to do. I mean, I think it moves so quick nowadays. I think, coaching searches move so quick. I think it's a good thing about agents. So, there's a lot of bad things about agents, but there's some really good things. They have everything broken down for you when you finally sit down and say, okay, this is what it is. I have a great wife. I have two kids that we sat down on. I didn't get back till Saturday night from San Diego. We sat down Sunday morning and really just broke down everything that was out there. We did it as a family. It wasn't my decision. We did it as a family decision. And, it's just one of those things that you kind of have to look at everything, break everything down. You have to say, okay, is this the right time? I think more than anything, Andy, timing is really big. And for me, it was now or never. I was just not going to move my kids out of high school. If I was going to make a move, it had to be for the right job and at the right time. And this was just something that just worked out perfect. So
you've had head coaching jobs at basketball-centric places, Iona, Seton Hall. You have worked at universities and played at one where there's major college football, obviously, Pitt, Louisville, and so on. But as a head coach, what's the biggest adjustment you think you'll have to make now going to where you are a piece of the athletic department, not the entire, focus, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything changes in my world. I mean, I gotta go out and recruit, and I gotta go out and get players. I think, for 7 Saturdays during the season now, we have recruiting visits where I think that was always tough at the basketball schools is sometimes, recruiting visits can get a little boring just because there's really nothing going on campuses at times. For me, I'm excited to be part of a football school, and be part of a football conference. I think it's gives an exciting thing. I just look at what Brenda Fries is doing with our women's program. It doesn't really seem to affect her and what she does. So for me, I'm hyper focused on men's basketball, what we have to do while supporting all our other sports. I mean, I think that's the big thing is I want to support all our sports. I want to support football. I want to give those guys the best opportunity to succeed. So anything I could do to be part of the athletic department to help them win, that's there. But it doesn't really affect me that, football is playing on Saturday. I still got to practice. So it doesn't really affect it. They're not really helping me win games there anyways.
So Kevin, your teams at Seton Hall have always had an identity. Tough, hard-nosed, guys that maybe weren't as highly recruited. You've developed tremendous talent, players of the year, and so on. And that's what we've seen in the Big Ten. We can tell, okay, this is what this team does. This is what that team does. How soon does it take for you, do you think, to put that imprint on your new team, in this case, obviously Maryland, to create that Kevin Willard type identity?
Yeah, that's a great question, Andy. And I think, Coach Turgeon did a great job. He's a friend of mine. He was here, won a lot of games here, had a lot of good players, still had, recruited a lot of good players. I think he had a great culture. I think his players played hard and played with an attitude. I think that's going to help me transition to the way I want to play. So I think it's one of those things that I'm looking at as once I get these guys in the gym and I get to see, what they're all about, I'll start implementing it right away, because I think it's important to develop your culture, so that when you bring recruits in, kids are seeing, what you're all about and how you like to work.
Hey, last thing before I let you go, and I really appreciate your time. Micah Shrewsbury, when he took over Penn State last year, he really recruited someone like John Hare and a couple other guys that obviously stayed, and then you lose some. That's sort of natural. How quickly will you go into this with this roster and zero in on guys that you definitely want to keep?
Yeah, I mean, we've already done it, Andy. I mean, I think that's something that, right when I first found out I was getting the job, I got on the phone, sent a text, had a Zoom meeting today with the guys. It's a good group of guys. They're on spring break right now, which is the only difficult thing. So I'm waiting forward for them to get back from spring break. But seems like a great group of young men that I'm looking forward to working with.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Congratulations.
Thanks, Andy. I appreciate it.